Yo, Moose, should I learn to code? Is arguably the second most popular question I get asked after, oh my god, you're in IT. Excellent. Can you have a look at my phone? Emails just won't work for some reason. No, no, mum. I can't get your 2007 HTC phone to work. Just get a new one, please. The tech propaganda machine has been on 100, and it's not just the day in the life videos from the pandemic. It goes back before that to when all the journalists and the tech CEOs were telling everyone and their grandma, just learn to code, bro, at the mere mention of any kind of financial difficulty. Because we all know JavaScript is going to solve all your problems. And then in 2002, those same CEOs turned around and told us all, Habibi, I just don't think this is going to work out anymore. It's not me, it's definitely you. And then proceeded to mismanage tech workers like Barcelona mismanages their finances. Since 2002, there's been over 500,000 layoffs, 150 of those coming in this year alone. And now all those poor grandmas in the JS sweatshops are looking around asking, lads, we're still on, right? So even though this is a tired question, the kind of question that tech content creators turn to when they've got absolutely nothing better to talk about, for arguably the first time since the dot-com bubble, is actually a valid question that's worth answering. Now, I want to split this video into roughly two sections: learning to code as a tool and learning to code to become a software engineer. Often in these kind of discussions, I feel like people forget that at its core, learning to code is just a tool. And I want to make a disclaimer. You don't need to be a software engineer to learn to code. I repeat, you don't need to be a software engineer to learn to code. And for a certain group of people, the kind of people that spend their days in and around Excel, Power BI, pushing numbers around a spreadsheet, learning to code could be the single most impactful thing they do in their careers. I know, I sound like one of those just learn to code merchants, but hear me out. If you're a data analyst or a business intelligence analyst, or you work in customer insights, or any other kind of data-oriented role for that matter, learning to code could massively improve your productivity. And you don't even need to be on the capitalist, infinite growth productivity train to benefit. The productivity that you get from automating away mundane tasks could allow you to spend more time with your family, your friends, and on hobbies and things you actually care about. Another reason to learn to code is down to your domain expertise. And I know you're thinking, what are you even talking about, mate? Give me a second and I'll explain. In 2010, Marc Andreessen, a famous Silicon Valley VC, is not that important, released the essay titled Software Will Eat the World. In this essay, he argues that going forward, more and more industries and businesses are going to become digitalized and run on software. Now, bear in mind, this is from 2010, and I'd say it's aged pretty well. Looking around the world today, most of the products and services that we use are in fact digitalized. And even more governments around the world are slowly digitalizing their services. Take here in the UK, for example. You want to get a passport, you go online, you fill out a form, you upload a picture, wait 2 weeks, and you've got your passport. So what's that got to do with you? Well, you're in a unique position to know all the inefficiencies and bottlenecks of your industry. But now you've also got this hidden superpower that allows you to create some solutions to those problems. Initially, just for yourself. But before you know it, you might realize, hold on a second, other people could benefit from these solutions too. A famous programmer in 2004 released an essay where he argues that the best startups solve problems, and the best problems to solve are your own, because those are the problems that you understand the most deeply. Now, that's not to say that you're going to start a company or that you even want to start a company, but maximizing your choices and future-proofing yourself could arguably be the best things that you do for your career. And now, this section is for you guys that want to be software engineers. As a wise man once said,
it's a bit of a sticky one still.
So you've watched the day in the life videos, you've seen the salaries, and you've decided, you know what, I want a bit of that. The first question I tend to ask people that tell me they want to be software engineers is, why do you actually want to do this? Is it only for the money? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I recognize that the job you do is one of the few choices we get under the capitalist system. But after a little bit more digging, where I ask things like, why not become an electrician or a plumber? Those earn quite a lot of money these days too. What I tend to find is that whether it's conscious or subconscious, people have begun to associate becoming a software engineer with easy money. It's become like the crypto of jobs, a get-rich-quick scheme, if you will. And if there's one thing that I can assure you in this video, there is nothing easy about this job. If you're still not convinced, let me give you a relatively realistic look at what it's like to be on this side of the fence. You spend 6 to 8 hours a day in a dimly lit room trying to understand why a machine won't do what you're trying to get it to do. Projects are managed by people with no technical knowledge. And stupid titles who believe the only way that they can justify their existence is by setting arbitrary and tight deadlines. Companies have started to measure your productivity by using stupid metrics like looking at how many lines of code or PRs you're raising every week. You're not raising 2 to 3 PRs a week? Here, have a performance improvement plan on us. And to top it off, companies want you in the office 3 or more days a week. Oh, and did I forget to mention? You're also on call. So if anything goes wrong at 3 a.m., you have to get up and fight that fire. I did an interview once at everyone's least favorite online bookstore, and they told me I needed to live within 1 hour of the office. Because when you're on call, if anything goes wrong in the middle of the night, you need to wake up, get an Uber to the office, and fight the fire there rather than at your house. And they were surprised when I turned them down. And you might be thinking, well, that's just this company. What if I move to another? Well, now you need to get past recruiters that are going to ask you for 5 years experience in a technology that's only been around for 3 weeks. Or recruiters that are going to ask you, what have you programmed in your spare time? Because obviously, if you've not programmed Doom on a pregnancy test, are you even a real programmer? But you've got past that, and now you're in front of the engineering team. I forgot to ask, have you been studying? You haven't? Oh, I'm sorry, but you're probably going to bomb the interview. Regardless of your experience levels, be prepared for 5 hours of esoteric questions that neither you nor them have ever had to solve in real life. As a senior software engineer with 8 years of experience, if I had to do 10 interviews tomorrow, I'd be lucky if I got one offer. That's how crazy things are. I say all that to try and prove the point that, just like any other corporate job, you are entering a meat grinder. And the only way that you can have a remote chance of surviving all this BS is that you need to love the game. You need to be really passionate about building software.
A nigga like me, man, I love the game. I love the hustle, man.
Now, it's not all doom and gloom. Do I get paid more than most people? Yes. But you better believe that the company I work for makes sure I earn every penny of it. It's definitely not free money. Since the pandemic, I've seen countless grads and interns crash out because it just wasn't what they expected it to be. Even all the day in the life video guys from the pandemic are now doing burnout videos on YouTube. So the moral of the story here is, should you learn to code? I don't know, should you? Reality is, success in the industry is a combination of personality, passion, and lots of luck. Take me, for example. Like most people, I worked in retail while I was still in school and very quickly realized I just don't like humans. I would much rather spend the day in the stockroom organizing shoeboxes than having to deal with customers. So for me, spending 6 to 8 hours a day in a dimly lit room wrangling with a machine is my idea of heaven. So yes, there is money, and I would never pretend that this job is harder than anything that requires physical labor. But before diving in headfirst, just make sure that this is truly something for you, and you're not just following a trend based on biased videos that you've seen around the internet. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. This is my first ever video, so please leave some feedback. Let me know what went right, what went wrong, any future video ideas, and hopefully I can get some of those out. But yeah, once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.